welcome to Game 5 of the NBA Finals. All tied at 2 apiece, the pivotal Game 5. Draymond dunking it down the lane. So far, so good for the Dubs. Wiggins turns, shoots, scores. Andrew Wiggins continues his outstanding play. As Curry drives, layup off the glass is good. Here's Boston with 10 straight to begin the third. Horford for 3. And the Celtics take the lead. First lead of the night for Boston. A 19-point turnaround here in Game 5. Poole gets it off in time. Oh, he knocks it in! He knocks it in! Gorgeous move from Andrew Wiggins. Warrior domination of this fourth quarter. Thompson, three-pointer. Bang! And the Warriors are going to win the pivotal Game 5. Yeah! One more.
Even Jay-Z, a Brooklyn Nets fan, approved. Well, the Warriors are 1 win away from their 4th NBA title in 8 years, but the Celtics will not lie down on their home court at TD Garden. The Warriors are winless on the road in closeout games this postseason, but their leader, Steph Curry, says it's important for them to not be overcome by the moment.
Thankfully, I think having been here 6 times and been in a lot of different closeout type of opportunities, you just understand what the nerves are like. So you can rely on that experience for sure. But at the end of the day, once you get out there, you have to just be in the moment. You got to be, present as much as possible, not worry about the consequences of a win or a loss. Because all the only opportunity you have is that 48 minutes. And the more you can kind of trick your mind into just being in the moment and staying there, that's the best advice I can give anybody in that situation. Because it's going to be the hardest game you've probably ever played in your career because of what the stakes are.
The Celtics have won all 3 of their elimination games this postseason and are confident they can make it for tonight. The Jays, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who combined for 9 turnovers in Game 5, not the baked product, turnovers, they gave the ball away, spoke about their mindset ahead of the game.
Do whatever it takes to win, and that can look different from game to game. But we won all those games, and, I felt like, myself and everybody else did whatever it took. And, that's the mindset you got to have.
Ain't no other way around it. Last game on our home floor, to kind of embody our whole season. We're looking to give it everything we got. We are not scared. We do not fear the Golden State Warriors. We want to come out and just play the best version of basketball that we can.
Joining us now to preview Game 6 is our NBA expert, Alistair Albert. Alistair, welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Good. Yep. What must the Jays do for the Celtics tonight to ensure victory?
The Jays must keep their turnovers down. Like you said, it's very simple. Very, very simple. Keep their turnovers down and shoot at the ball a lot more efficiently. So like you said just a little while ago, you said they had a combined 9 turnovers per game, last game. And they are shooting, the Jays and the team are shooting very badly from 2-point range in this whole series. They're shooting a lot better at 3-point range, but when it comes to closer execution to the basket, they're not fulfilling that. And also, they need to have a lot more bench production. They can't just rely on their big 3, Marcus Smart included, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We need to have one of those games where Al Horford comes up big, or Derek White or Grant Williams. Since the earlier games and earlier rounds, we haven't heard from Grant Williams since Game 7 of the Bucks series, where he had 7 3-pointers. Al Horford, when he had that 6 3-points a game, 30 points. Derek White since Game 1 of these finals. So, like I said the last time, role players play better at home, and you have to hope that their other guys will step up and their main guys be a little more careful with the ball and shoot better from the whole field altogether.
There's a word in the English language, Alistair, and you're a learned man, I'm sure you know it. It's called equanimity. It means evenness of mind or temper, and I'm drawing for that because I feel like somehow that escaped the Celtics in the last 2 games. What do I mean? We spoke at length about the big fourth quarter the Celtics had in the first game where they scored 41 points to take down the Warriors. And I feel as if the Celtics have overcompensated by what they've done in the third quarters, because everybody knows the Warriors are the third quarter team. They come on the court after the halftime interval and they kill you in the third quarter, blow the game wide open, and cruise through the fourth and secure the victory. So it's almost as if the Celtics haven't been even. So they've overcompensated in the third quarter to ensure that they're aggressive, that they're strong, that they match the Warriors at worst, exceed them at best, and then the rest will take care of itself. And they're not finishing strong. The fourth quarter has suffered because of what they're putting into the third quarter. That's the equanimity link there. Not even, not evenness of mind, not evenness of temper. What say you on that?
Remember when we had some conversation some time back and we were speaking about all of these quarters and winning quarters and taking it game by game? What is really important there is, as well, is for them to have very short memories. Forget what happened in the third quarter. Forget what happened in the first half. Forget what happened in the last game. Play a very disciplined set of basketball and learn how to kind of keep yourself even, like you said, and kind of doing the things that you need to do, getting yourself in the positions that you know are going to be successful, and passing the ball early when you see a double team is coming on you, because these guys are going to have to expect quite a lot of force from the Golden State Warriors. It's a word that they've used throughout these playoffs, meeting force with force, and they have to become a lot more disciplined and learn when to try to push the envelope and try to lay back and kind of pass the ball to your open teammates. So that evenness will come from discipline and learning how to just read the defenses that are coming to you and do the necessary action thereafter.
The Warriors just one win away from an NBA title. What do you expect to see from them tonight, and do you think that they can just close it out?
It's not going to be very easy for them, like George said, and it's something that's been going around all over the news houses. The Warriors have the Celtics have won 3 closeout games in these playoffs. They have kind of done this before. It's a very young team, but from this playoff run, they've kind of tested themselves in those closeout games and have come up on the winning end. And the Warriors, I think there's an analogy that I used sometime earlier on in the playoffs as well. Like, the Warriors are like a cat playing with a mouse in the backyard and kind of watching their food run away and pulling it back and all that sort of stuff. The Warriors need to be that team, that dog-hearted, gold-blooded team is the slogan for their postseason run. The gold-blooded team who are really focused on winning the championship tonight and close it out and be very forceful against these Warriors. Draymond Green needs to step up. We can't have another 2-point night from him. There's this talk about Game 6 Clay. He's been very really prolific in Game 6s. Jordan Poole needs to step up. He hasn't been really too forceful or explosive in this playoffs, apart from a couple of buzzer-beater threes at the end of the third quarter. So these guys, and Steph Curry, of course, we know what he does, but he could have a semi-average night and be a decoy and allow other players to play and step up, like Andrew Wiggins, who played really great in the last 2 games. So they all just need to play very evenly as well and just do what they normally do. I think once they keep to that and keep to their identity, they have a good chance of closing this game out tonight.
Definitely, but Golden State Warriors, they have a problem defending at the perimeter. Do you expect that to be a massive concern or no?
No, I don't see that. This is a team who has been a very good defensive team throughout the year and these playoffs. Like I said really earlier on as well, these are the 2 top defensive teams in the league this season and also throughout the playoffs. They are really good at running guys off the line and help defense, being able to navigate screen and rolls at the top of the key, switching and kind of, helping off rolls and everything. So I think, I don't think that defensive lacking of that defensive skill will come into play this year. I think they're focused and they'll know what they need to do. Draymond will be quicker, will be tougher, he'll be rebounding harder. Kevin Looney will come in and do certain things. Steph Curry will be out there trying to dive for balls and everything. They want to close this out tonight. So, yeah, we're going to see a really good effort from the Golden State Warriors tonight.
Alistair, the C word, coaching. On one corner, a man who's seen it, done it before as player, assistant coach, and coach. On the other side is a man who's seen some of it done as a support, a coach, to be fair to him. You tend to think that, and we've seen this movie before, in games as momentous as the one that we're coming upon in a couple of hours, coaches can give valuable assistance to their team, helping to nudge them over the line. It's almost a sin to ask who is better equipped. But based on what we've seen this postseason, forget their records, The man leading the Celtics or the man leading the Warriors? Who would you rather have in a situation where it is the coach's input that will determine a win or a loss?
Despite my prediction, despite the history of the Warriors and everything, I'm a bit concerned for Steve Kerr tonight, because he's made a few decisions throughout this whole postseason in terms of substitution patterns, not playing certain players like Jonathan Kuminga enough, and some decisions that I think are a bit questionable in terms of like I said, substitution patterns and timeouts and everything. So I'm a little bit concerned because Steph Curry, has played tremendously. Andrew Wiggins has played really well, and the guys have really stepped up to kind of save Steve Kerr. A lot of these wins that could have been really close losses for the Warriors could have been easily blamed on Steve Kerr. So he also needs to come out and be really top notch in his coaching and his wisdom, and being able to make proper calls and be judicious with his substitution patterns, and also not be afraid to switch it up and adjust if things are not working in his way. Amy Udoka, of course, has stepped up. He's first year coach, but he's shown that he's not first year talent. He's been around the block with Greg Popovich and everyone else, and I think he can kind of provide the force on the coaching side as well that will really test Steve Kerr tonight.
Yeah, the other thing to consider is how crowds are at home games. The crowd will be pumped up. It's a waste of a question to ask if the crowd will be pumped up. But if the crowd is pumped up as we expect from the start, and the Celtics start shooting bricks, then the murmurs will start going around and people will say, wait, what's happening? And that could happen, that could percolate through to the players on the floor. Would you advise the Celtics players that, look, the crowd will be behind you from the first whistle. If your shots are not falling, don't drop your heads. Keep feeding from the energy from the stands and keep going hard at it, because that's what will happen? Or would you say, you know what, regroup, slow down, forget the noise, and see if you can get the results that way? What would the approach be in the circumstances?
One of the things that that separates the NBA players from any other player else in the world is because they're professionals and they know how to tune the crowds out. And of course, whether you're home or on the road, you have to be able to have that tunnel vision. And I myself, I played basketball as well, of course, not in the NBA, but up to semi-professional level up here in the UK. And you have to be able to just learn when you're on a court, performing in other people, with people in the crowds, shouting and everything. You just have to learn to just blur them out. And, for the Celtics tonight, even if you're home, they have to kind of face this like they are actually on the road, and kind of be really sensitive to what they're doing on the court and not what's happening up in the stands.
Yeah. All right. So that said, you expect what kind of first quarter? Because we've had some ferocious first quarters in this series so far. You expect the Warriors to try to play possum, or are they going to go for the jugular from the first, from the tip-off?
I think both of them will kind of really try to go for it, really. And I think you might see a little bit of an uneven first quarter, a little bit of sloppy play here and there until they catch it themselves. I do think the Warriors have, like I've kind of said and predicted from the start of this series, I think they have enough and enough shooting and everything to kind of right the ship when you see they kind of get off course. So I think the Warriors will prevail in this first quarter, but the game will be close throughout. Watch for the winner of the first half. I think we'll set the tone for the rest of this game, and, we'll see what happens from there.
It's not original to say I'm worried about Draymond Green, Alistair, because in this game where the defending will be hard, every ball will be fought over like hungry, like people ravenously hungry animals fighting for food. And in that state where the emotional energy in the game is so high, I'm not sure that my forward can maintain his equanimity, evenness of mind or temper. Do you share my concerns for Draymond, or do you think he'll be fine?
I don't. I think he'll be absolutely fine. Like I said in the last time we spoke yesterday, this is a guy in Game 6s in the finals who averages 11, 13, and 9. He steps up, and these are usually closeout games for the Warriors, and I think he understands the urgency of where he needs to be. He will not be, hopefully, he will not get too much into it with the referees or the crowd. He'll be focusing on what's happening, with the task at hand against the Celtics tonight, and he'll be all right. I think he'll be good. I don't know what his stats will be, but based on the history, he has a way of coming back and showing and playing big that will help his team close out.
Hear you on that, my friend. So at the end of it all, you're calling it for the Warriors tonight?
I think so.
There you go. All right, we'll talk either after. We'll either talk, the next time we'll be talking about the Warriors championship, or we're previewing Game 7.
Yes, that's right.
There you go. Thank you very much. Alistair Albert there. Good job speaking to us from the UK, where it is 11 minutes past 11 p.m. So, yeah, good man to be able to stay up so late for your viewing and listening pleasure. Break time after this. Lance will come back and talk about some cricket.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news, and entertainment.